Okay guys, today we're reviewing this little mini drone from Attop. This is the X-Pac 10. This is a really small little drone. It does have a little HD, actually a 1080p camera on the front of this drone. It is foldable. As you can see, it's very, very small up against my hand. So let's go ahead and fold out the arm so you can see the full size of it. This is going to be a nice little flyer. I've reviewed some Attop drones last fall and they were all really great little flyers. This is ideal for flying indoors. There are some prop guards I'll show you you can put on this drone to fly it inside so the props don't hit the walls. But you could fly it outside on a day that's very calm like today. There's literally no wind at all. If there's much wind at all, then this is going to have to be flown indoors because it's not going to be able to fight a whole lot of wind. And this drone has really, really nice LEDs, which I'll show you. Let me go ahead and turn it on. Power button's on the top. Now they're flashing right now because it's not bound with the controller, but you can see it's got white lights on the front. And it's got blue on the sides and green in the rear. So the drone's facing you and you see white, you know it's facing towards you, blue on the sides, and then green in the back. This is really excellent for orientation for a new flyer, because most people buying this would be someone just getting into drones. This helps you maintain your orientation. And that's especially useful if you don't have the Wi-Fi app connected and then you are just flying line of sight. This is going to make it a lot easier to fly. So go ahead and turn it off, the long press. I'll show you real quick. You get two of these little 1S, 1S means one cell LiPo battery. This is a 380 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt battery. And like I said, I got the fully charged one in the drone, and then here's a spare one. And it uses a little barrel connector that goes right up in here. And then it goes into USB in your computer or your USB outlet. And it'll take about 50 minutes to charge it up. They rate the flight time around 7 to 8 minutes on this, which sounds reasonable for this little guy. It is a altitude hold flyer, so it will hold its altitude, but that's it. There's no GPS, of course, no real return to home. It does have one key return, but that's sort of a gimmick. And here are those prop guards. So I would put those on if you're gonna fly this indoors. Otherwise, you don't want to use it outside. It tends to make the drones fly a little bit more clunky when you have these attached, a little bit more bulk to the drone. And if you get it caught in a tree or something up high, you know, these become really great hangers, like ornaments on a Christmas tree. It makes it much easier to get this caught up in a tree. So don't put these on unless you're gonna fly it indoors. You get spare props if you would bust them or scuff them up. You get some screws for those to attach them. And they give you 3 AAA batteries, which I use some of my own, so I can keep these new, but that will be for the controller. Now let's take a look at the controller. It's really a nice size for being such a small drone. This is a nice big controller. Here is your phone clip holder to put your phone in there for the Wi-Fi app. And then here is your altitude hold. You can see it self-centers. So this is going to be your controls for your pitch, roll, yaw, all that stuff up here. And then here you got some buttons over here. Now this is your power button. This one here is to turn your LEDs on and off. I would keep those on. Though on a bright day like today, you know, those lights are not going to be as easy to see. This is your auto takeoff. You press this and the drone will fire up the motors and it will take off and then hover. Now you can also unlock the props doing down and in or down and out with the sticks. And then pressing the throttle up after the unlock. This will actually take off and you don't have to give it throttle and it will take off. It also has a hand launch, so I'll show you guys. Instead of doing those, you can just put the drone in your hand, throw it in the air, and it'll automatically fire up the motors and take off. So we'll test that in a moment. This is your circle fly. The drone's gonna do big like loop circles. And again, if there's much wind, it's gonna take off doing that mode, so you be careful. This is like a auto yaw kind of. I don't want the box fell on the ground. There's a little bit of wind blowing through here now. It's basically just, it's gonna yaw, it's gonna spin on the yaw axis. It's gonna spin like a top. We'll try that. This is your short press will do headless mode, and the long press will do what they call the one key return, where the drone will fly back in the opposite direction it was facing at takeoff. It's sort of a poor man's return to home, but it's really not something I would recommend relying on because it's not very good. These are your trims to trim it up, so if the drone is drifting, you want to do that whenever it's calm so that you can adjust it to the way it drifts. On the back here you have your photo and your video. So like this, photo, video. And that'd be the Wi-Fi app. This is your 3 speed rates, which we'll test. 1, 2, and 3 beeps. And this one's your 3D flips to do flips, which we'll also test. Now the app you're going to use with this is the Attop Nano. That's what it was called. I was grabbing from my phone, but I'll put a screenshot from the Play Store, the Attop Nano app. And then you'll connect to the Wi-Fi that comes off the drone. So this drone will emit a Wi-Fi signal. You'll connect to that with your phone, and that will bring you the video feed that we'll record that you guys will see in the video. All right, that should be everything. Real quick overview. Let's get this drone up in the air and see how this little guy flies. Okay, so I have it connected to the Wi-Fi app and also bound to the controller. I want to show you a quick takeoff, how you do the auto. Then I want to do the hand launch, so I don't forget that. So we won't record video yet. Let's just show you how you do the auto takeoff by pressing that button, and it takes off. Now we're in the lowest rate, so I'm going to go ahead. If you press it again, it should land, and it is. Okay, there it is. Now we should be able to do the hand launch now. Now what I would recommend is that, like I said, if there's any wind, we want to get this up into the higher rate. So I'll show you I'll go through the rate. So now we're in 3. So I'm going to put it in the highest rate because there is an occasional breeze here. And that's all. Let's also start recording some video. So I'm going to press the video button. And now we're recording video. Let's just hand launch it. Oops, almost dropped the drone. Let's hand launch it, and there it goes. That worked really well. I know it's just a little bit of control lag at times there right after I launched it. Now this drifting a lot of this is the wind. So we have to keep that in mind that you can't really trim that up very well. So there's a pretty good yaw. You can see it really takes off. There's a wind kind of going from right to left here. Now if I go into the lowest rate, you'll see, and then there's a higher rate and a sportier. Not much pitch in the drone when you're in the lowest rate. We're going to go on the highest rate. You can really see that blue light, I think. You should be able to see that. It depends wherever we're in the sunlight or not, in the green in the back. Okay, let's try some 360 flips here while we have sufficient battery. You always want to do that early in the flight. So let's take it up here a little bit. And these little drones always flip great because they're so small and they're really well balanced. What you do is you just press the button and it beeps, and you press the right stick the direction you want the drone to flip. All right, and now we can test out those other little modes. Now you can turn the lights off here. And I think they flash because it lets me know that we're recording video. So if you turn them off, and we'll turn it off here, now there's no, well, I pressed it, didn't do anything. Well, it says that's the light button. Maybe they continue to flash because we're recording video. You're supposed to be able to turn them off. And there's those white lights, I don't notice those at the moment. Get that closer there. Let me press that again. Oh, I think it seems like whenever it's recording video that may not matter on the lights. All right, let's go ahead and test let's try that, like the circle they call it. This is gonna really want to take off. Let's get it over here. And there you can see it's gonna fly in circles. And you should get stick inputs, it should cancel. There it did. So you don't have to press it again to cancel it. I'm certain if you press it again that it will cancel it. And let's try that auto yaw where it spins kind of like a top. So you press it and look at that. Wow! Looks like a flying saucer. And you just press any stick and it'll stop. Now if I would try to do that, let's try to get the drone back here. I got my, I'm just gonna bring it down. Let's bring it down so we don't lose it. I can see where I've landed. All right, I'm going to grab it. Because that spun so quickly, the drone, I lost my orientation. So that's why I brought it down, so I didn't lose the drone. That's the best thing to do. So let me go grab the drone, and then we'll finish up this review, so I'll be right back. All right, I went out there and recovered the drone. So you know, whenever something spins that quickly, orientation is very difficult. Even with the video feed, you quickly could lose orientation, and you know, you can't tilt this camera, so it depends on which way it was facing. And I tend to more rely on my line of sight than the video, because you don't know when that Wi-Fi feed could drop out. It did maintain the feed all the way over there. It didn't go very far. I just gently brought it down before before it went too far away. There was a stop button in the app I could have pressed to do a motor kill. I didn't really want to do that though. It would not have hurt it to fall into the grass, being that this is so lightweight. So yeah, I mean, that's what you have to keep in mind. That spins extremely fast. One of the quickest I've seen in terms of spinning on that. I would recommend not using that outside, because you can see I have 7 to 8 years of drone flying experience, and I lost orientation very, very fast. But you do want to look at the app, which I tend to not do, because that would help you gain orientation quicker than trying to find these lights. Now the battery is probably getting kind of low. I think we had over 4 minutes of video. I'm just going to do a little line of sight flight here just to end the video. One thing I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned it yet, is how you do the gyro calibration. Now this drone, you want to calibrate the gyro so that it knows level. It was fine when I took off. It's always good to do it, especially after a crash. Now, oddly enough, the instruction manual calls it a compasses calibration, plural compasses calibration. That's not right. A compass would be on a GPS drone. There's no compass in here. You're calibrating the gyro so that it knows level. That's going to be both sticks down to the left. You see the lights flash there. And when it goes solid, we know that the calibration is complete. All right, it's all done. Now we can just go ahead and let's do a auto takeoff again. So no video here, guys. I don't think the battery's gonna last too much longer. Technically, it should last another few minutes, but a while ago it was beeping at me, and I don't know if that was the battery or not. So let's see what speed rate we're in. I think we're in the lowest, yeah, because I turned the drone on and off. So there's the lowest rate. See, not much pitch. And there's the middle rate, faster yaw. And then here's the highest rate, because the wind's, a little bit of breeze has let up now. It's intermittent breeze here today. And you can see how much better that is. Personally, if you get this drone, I wouldn't mess with the camera unless you just absolutely have no other options. You might be able to grab a couple photos with it, which I didn't test today. But this is just going to be a great little line of sight flyer. And when I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi, some of these drones will do this. The controls just don't have as much lag. Seems like even though the Wi-Fi signal is being transmitted right now and not connected, seems like whenever your phone is sitting on your controller here and it's also transmitting data back and forth, they can just cause some, because they're both 2.4 gigahertz, you can tend to cause a little bit of lag in the responsiveness of the controls on the controller. We've seen this over the years. It's not common, and this one is it's intermittent, and it's not a lot. If you're a new drone pilot, you probably wouldn't even notice it, but you've flown enough of them like I have, you certainly notice it. So see, I can keep it right here close, and I'm just fine. But if I did that, you can see now that I'm not focused on the video and stuff and just letting it rip. It's pretty easy to fly, but if you're going to do it with that spinning mode on the yaw, do keep in mind it is going to be easy to lose orientation, especially if you're flying like me right now without the app connected. So let's just do it very briefly again to show you guys, in case you'd happen to skip ahead in the video and didn't see it. Look at that. I'm just going to press it again. Now we're going to look for it. I can see her looking at the rear, so we're fine. Press it again, and press it again, and I can see it's at the rear again. Easy enough, but a little breeze caught it a while ago, and it took off and blew it over the fence, and then it was hard being this small to see which way I'm facing, even though I should have, like I said, I should have looked at the app. We stayed connected, but I reverted to my instincts of trying to figure out where it is in line of sight, and that takes a lot of practice, and being this small, I lost it. All right, the beep on the controller is telling me the battery is low. Now, oddly enough, it was doing this a while ago, and we've flown it considerably longer. Now, with the Wi-Fi not connected, that might make the battery last a little longer. I don't know if it will or not. Now it's going to come on down. My daughter's here to help out. All right, Bryn, let me have it. Thank you. Okay guys, now this controller is going to beep and it's going to be very annoying to let you know that the drone battery is dead. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the drone, turn off the controller. Not have to worry about that annoying beeping. You know what? I didn't check the price before I came out here to do this to see what this sells for. If this is a reasonable price, you know, something like under 40, really under 30 bucks for me, but I don't know, you know, with the Amazon drone prices can be hit and miss on these. I would say this is a pretty good little flyer, as long as you don't, you know, need something that's really big that can handle the wind outside, and you're not expecting a lot from the video. You know, you can't expect a lot from a little toy, but you know, these have always been pretty good flyers. I like this one if the price is right. So there'll be a purchase link down in the video description and the pinned comment if you're interested in this one. So check that out, and I'll have any coupons if they have it as well. Usually there's a clippable one on Amazon. All right, guys, that should wrap up this video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and while you're at, click the bell. That way you're notified every time I upload a new video. As always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.